Thank you for watching News Center and welcome back. Now, the fourth edition of the Regional American Chamber of Commerce Kenya Business Summit has entered its second day here in Nairobi. The two-day summit aims to bolster trade and investment ties between the U.S. and East Africa. Our business reporter, Noakip Kemboy, is at the event and now joins us live with the latest. Good morning to you, Noakip Kemboy. You're joining us from the AMCHAM summit that is happening here in Nairobi. What's the latest today, Noakip Kemboy? I know the president is expected to be there a little bit later, but what is happening right now, Kip Kemboy?
Good morning, Aseto. It's a beautiful day. I mean, we are at the Windsor. We are looking at the horizons. It's green all over. It didn't rain yesterday, so less flooding. It's a beautiful day to be grateful, definitely. But right here at the AMCHAM fourth summit, it is that day. It's the D-Day that we are expecting the president to speak later on in the afternoon, and they'll be addressing matters investment because we are here to make business deals. You know, we are looking at the bottom line. We are looking at what is emerging in the world of sustainability. How can we partner? How can we invest? That's why we have this conversation. One of the areas, Aseto, when we talk about investment, and an area that has so much potential to change the fortunes of this land we call Africa, and specifically Kenya, is technology. We understand the power of technology, extremely powerful. So how can you get tech players to invest in Kenya and to set up ecosystems here? What is the potential of technology in an economy? We want to have this conversation with Clayton Knight, who is Senior Director at Cisco. Thank you very much, sir. Looking sharp, day two. Were you here yesterday?
I was here yesterday, bright and early, and I loved the conversations. We attended a panel on digital transformation in the East Africa Hub. And Noah, it's a pleasure to meet you. This is special for me because my son's name is Noah, I told you.
I see that. Maybe I'll need to return a favor later on, you know, when I get a son to name him Clayton. That would be interesting. But we're talking about digital transformation, looking at East Africa as a region. When you talk about digital transformation, there's so many facets to it. What are those top of priority that the region needs to tackle if at all we are to experience what we call digital transformation?
Yeah, when I talk about digital transformation, and normally I would have went to ChatGPT and give you an answer out of ChatGPT, so I'm going to give you a very simple answer. I think about it, Noah, in three moral obligations. And I think as technology companies like Cisco, who basically predominantly connect the internet. And if you look at, you know, the internet traffic across the world, about 70% of the internet traffic across the world runs on Cisco infrastructure. But as we go into countries within the East Africa Hub, I always say that we have three moral obligations, right? The first moral obligation is to connect the unconnected. There's still less than 50% unconnected in the East Africa Hub. I think it's around 41%. And we have a moral obligation to ensure that we produce technology that has the right level of internet economics to make it affordable to connect the unconnected. The second moral obligation that I think we need to do is digital skills. And we have a responsibility to ensure that we leave nobody behind. And that's why we empower students that want to participate in the technology landscape, an opportunity to learn with Cisco through our networking academies, and we can speak more about that. And the last one, I think, is a moral obligation to ensure that the technology that we deploy, especially now with advancements of artificial intelligence, is safe and secure. So we need to ensure that we have our cybersecurity solutions well penetrated within government institutes to ensure that the defense systems of government is advanced and governments are well protected.
One of actually popular terms in Kenya, it's called Taptengele, yeah? And essentially the president was speaking in this region, and it is about the digital economy where you can work online. And to be able to do this, that infrastructure needs to be there. It seems, especially as Africa, since we are the youngest continent, Kenya, our median age is 18, 19. We are facing issues to do with unemployment. Digital seems to be one of those avenues that we can capitalize to solve some of these challenges. How do you think we can approach that?
I think I always say again on digital and technology has the power to equalize potential. but economic opportunity is disparate. But if you look at countries like Kenya and the East Africa Hub, take the payment space. Kenya has the leapfrogged in the payment space and set the world standard in payment platforms, right? And if you take all the other advancements and if you look at the technology that's available, what we need to do is ensure that we work with private sector and public sector to make that technology available to citizens to allow them to innovate. And if you innovate at the grassroots level, I think that becomes much more accelerated into the world markets because we have an opportunity to leapfrog the innovation, right? We're not migrating, we're leapfrogging, right? So I really think there's a unique opportunity for all people of Kenya to embrace technology, and it's available, right? Embrace technology, try to understand how you can digitize your business, create marketplaces. And if you look at, one of the key trends, and if you go anywhere online, and if you look at what is the key trends in the East Africa community, it's the boom of e-commerce and e-commerce platforms and everything going digital. And this is well aligned with the payment space, right? Because as you put your products and services online through digital infrastructure that's available, the payment platform's already there because it's pretty robust, right? So it's a perfect ingredient for growth.
I'm thinking now in regards to, since we are at AMCHAM, it's about creating connections, creating avenues of investments. As a tech player, East Africa offers a very unique opportunity. I don't know how Kenya sells itself to the international investors, but connectivity is a little bit higher, is a selling point. But talk to me about creating an enabling environment for tech investors. What does that look like?
Well, Noah, we are here. We have a Cisco stand here. We're participating not only in AMCHAM, we're participating in Connected Africa, as you know, that's going on. And tomorrow we're launching a significant milestone together with the University of Nairobi. We're building the first on the continent. It's a cybersecurity training and experience center. And the reason that we built it at the University of Nairobi is because we want graduates that are coming out of the technology space to start working with Cisco in the cybersecurity space to build solutions to solve problems in the East Africa Community Hub, right? Not only it is a training space, it's also a way that organizations, both in the private and public sector, can come in there and work with Cisco to design cybersecurity architecture. So they can leave with a blueprint and go back into the organization and ensure that the organizations are safe from all of the cyber attack, right? That's a form of investment, and we're proud of an investment. It'll enable the market from a cybersecurity space. It'll enable partners to be more credible, and I believe it'll create a whole circle of opportunity that will fuel the investment.
Definitely. So you're saying, first of all, looking at partnering with education systems and education players so that transition is seamless. That is one. From a policy perspective, are there recommendations that, from your observation, looking at different market spaces, we can sort of tweak to make it easier for tech companies? Since you guys are already here, so you've done it, you've gone ahead, you've looked at the challenges and the opportunities. What are some of the policy recommendations to make it easy for tech players to invest in the East Africa region and also Kenya, to be specific?
Yeah, I think from a policy perspective, not to go too much into some of the regulatory framework, I still think there's work to do in terms of access to infrastructure in marginalized communities. I think there should be, some level of incentives in place for infrastructure players together with service providers to ensure that they accelerate digital connectivity in some of the marginal places or rural parts of the world. The second thing that I think, and I hope that we can end up there, is some sort of incentive for small businesses to get access to the market faster. And I think if you look at what we're doing at Cisco, is we have an opportunity, to provide facilities that will stimulate the small businesses in tech and build their businesses. But we want to also remove the barriers that they have in terms of access to market, right? And I think if we can incentivize a way where companies actually buy from small businesses, I know that there's some level of programs already in place, but I think if we can accelerate that, it'll be really good for growth, because we fundamentally believe to create new jobs and accelerate that, the only way to do that is to stimulate small business.
That's quite interesting. You've touched one of the areas that I really love, the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises and the power and the potential of technology to sort of transform these businesses. I mean, 80 to 90% of businesses in Kenya fall under that category. in terms of onboarding technology? There is the simple way, or open a Facebook page, Instagram, sell online. But is there tech for this market, yeah, that is not so much empowered, sort of affordable tech? Is there a way that affordability of tech can come down for MSMEs in this market?
I fundamentally believe that tech is affordable, and I think that small businesses need to ensure that they are solving a problem without leading with price. I think what you need to do is design a product and solution. The tech is there. The platforms are available from all OEMs, and Cisco has a huge platform in the developer community where you have an opportunity to build your own unique solutions on top of Cisco platforms, and that becomes your solution for the market, right? We have a massive developer community through our program called DevNet, and we have an opportunity. If you're an entrepreneur and you're interested in, say, the hybrid workspace or the retail space around retail analytics, you can bring the power of what you know and program some solutions on top of retail analytics platforms and sell that into the market of your solution, right? So I think we need to be innovative and ensure we lead with product as opposed to always thinking about price. One of the things we are really trying to do is make sure that from a technology access perspective, we remove those barriers for small businesses. And if you look at the cybersecurity experience center that we're building, if you're a small business and you want to play in the cybersecurity space and get certified with Cisco, come into that space. Get certified, learn how it works, try to build solutions that can differentiate yourself in terms of offering value and outcome for customers. And if you offer that, they will definitely buy from you and you will grow your business. Once you grow your business, please don't forget the graduates that are sitting there that you need to employ, right? That's our wish.
Definitely, the ripple effect. Before I let you go, in terms of the different markets, especially for global players as you are, different markets for different needs, different regions, there is always this feeling of a trickle-down effect, especially from advanced markets to developing markets and emerging markets as we are, technology-wise. So something that was used maybe 5 years ago in the state, now it's being fully embraced. Is that gap sort of being closed up where there is sort of uniform, or do these markets have different needs when it comes to tech solutions?
I think the problems are different, not necessarily the technology applicability. I'll tell you a story. A while ago when I was completing my education and I was basically doing a thesis, I actually wrote about the applicability of advanced technology in emerging markets. I think I need to write it the other way around, right? The applicability of innovation and the speed of innovation to solve problems, in the developed worlds is what I'm trying to look at as an example, right? So that's what we're trying to do, and that's what we're trying to figure out. I think we have a unique opportunity in the continent and the country. As a son of the soil, I fundamentally believe in ensuring that we play a role in stimulating small businesses and we take our rightful place in the world stage.
Today the president is here. I don't know, are you looking forward to something in his address? I know tech people, you're always anxious. What is he going to say about tech? These issues that you've raised, some to do with infrastructure. What are you looking forward to from the president today?
I think if I recall some of the statements that were happening with the president, and he said to the world stage, is that if your business strategy from a technology perspective, and this is multinational OEMs, does not consider Africa or specifically Kenya, I think he said recorrect that strategy and make sure. So I think we are looking forward to hearing from him around some of the things that he's looking to do to advance the technology landscape. He speaks about the Silicon Savannah. We're interested in that. I fundamentally believe that he cares about it deeply, and we're hoping to see that Kenya is going to be at the world stage pretty soon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clayton. And it's a pleasure, man. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Clayton Naidu is actually from Cisco, and he says that technology is not just about offering solution, but the applicability of it. It's different for different markets. Look at Kenya. Majority of our businesses as settled fall under the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Can we create technology for that? Yes. Barrier to entry? I mean, there are few, but we can do away with that with proper partnerships. Now they are partnering with the University of Nairobi, saying that if you study technology, you can find an easier entrance into this whole thing. And this, I think, is a beautiful thing. So, Seto, I know it is a beautiful day. I don't know whether I'll go have a cup of tea just as I reminisce over these tech issues. And then after, we'll have a chat. Of course, the president will be here. We see what he has to say in regards to business between the Americans and Kenya and how much money is coming into the country in regards to investment. But for now, back to you, Seto, in studio.
Thank you very much, Noah, as you continue to bring us up to speed on the AMCHAM summit that is ongoing. We shall be touching base with you a little bit later. Interesting conversations there. But now I want us to go back to Bunge Town.